Idaho's Terrorist Control Act remains intact. For the second time this session and the third session in a row, a bill to define domestic terrorism was back in front of lawmakers. Sponsors call it simply a due process bill. So quick backstory. Senate Bill 1220 was introduced in January and passed the Senate. It was supposed to define domestic terrorism, which isn't included in the 1987 statute. Well, 1220 wanted to link domestic terrorism as something done in cooperation with a foreign terrorist organization, something we talked about 2 weeks ago with the author of Idaho's original Terrorist Control Act. That would be former State Attorney General Jim Jones.
Adding the requirement that the prosecutor prove that this was done in conjunction with one of those 70 organizations. Those guys are not going to support a bombing here in Boise. And that makes it, you can't get a conviction.
Okay, so that was 2 weeks ago when 1220 was given a hearing in the House Judiciary Rules and Administration Committee. But that day, the committee chair decided they were going to carry the bill into a second day of debate. It wasn't finished yet. And 1220 has been hanging around since. That is until today, when it was set aside in favor of an updated version. That would be House Bill 623. This one would return the civil disorder definition, which was scratched from the original Senate bill. But the same issues remained for those who had a problem with the previous bill. This idea that domestic terrorism has to be linked to a foreign terrorist organization. As Democratic Representative Chris Mathias pointed out, what appears to be a fundamental misunderstanding of terrorism. This isn't a disagreement with your school board. It isn't religious, it isn't where you come from, or even the type of violence committed.
Terrorism is a type of violence designed to disrupt the democratic process, and it puts all of us in jeopardy. So, Mr. Chairman, for example, if I commit a battery on you, that's battery, but if I commit a battery on you to disrupt this proceeding, that jeopardizes all of our well-being as Americans in a free society. And so the idea that we would require someone who wanted to do that to send an email to Hamas first, it makes no sense to me.
Not even sure they're answering their emails. A roll call vote ended in a tie, by the way. 8 in favor, 8 against, meaning it did not pass. 5 Republicans voted no on this bill. So therefore, the bill is dead. 1220, the previous bill, that was actually held in committee earlier in the hearing. So in order to, well, Frankenstein that bill and bring it back alive, well, it would need a 2/3 vote by the committee. And given that vote, who knows if that's going to happen.